Di balik itu, semua pembelajaran terhadap diri kita adalah bagaimana untuk kita terus-menerus bertumbuh dan berkembang. Oleh karena itu, trust issue, poin pentingnya adalah bukan bagaimana kita percaya kepada seseorang untuk mengikuti 100% ekspektasi kita. Tetapi trust adalah bagaimana kita sama-sama bekerja sama, melepaskan ego dalam sebuah kerjasama. Dan dalam kerjasama ini, goals terakhirnya adalah kita semua berkembang alamiah sesuai dengan kapabilitas kita dan kita semua tumbuh berkembang bersama. Terima kasih.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Welcome to the C Morning Show. It is always a great pleasure for us to bring you your morning news with top stories from Indonesia and around the world within the next 3 hours. I'm Aline Ratmaja. I'm here with two fine young professional gentlemen. Wow, so many adjectives
That is very
attached to you
kind of you to
guys.
say, Aline.
Professional
Thank you so much.
gentleman. Okay.
Yeah, young, highlight that also.
Young professional. Yes, thank you for that kind words. Anyways, good morning, and good morning to two of you too. Happy Sunday as well. My name is Laufina Sution, and I'm your host for today. And in addition to what Aline just said, we'll have special talk shows. Messi will do some cooking today.
Indeed.
Yeah, and make sure you stay tuned for that. Also, you can always connect with us on our social media at C Today News on Instagram, X, and also YouTube.
And hello, good morning as well. I am your host, Satya Pramesi. I'd like to greet our viewers that are now able to tune in from Foxtel's Flash Australia, Macau Cable TV Channel 84, Vision Philippines Channel 58, Air Cable Philippines and Singtel Singapore Channel 15, and StarHub Channel 720 as well. Good morning to all of you who are watching. All right, let's start with the show with our headlines.
Iran said Saturday it had conducted a successful satellite launch into its highest orbit yet, the latest for a program the West fears improves Tehran's ballistic missiles.
An Israeli strike on the Syrian capital on Saturday destroyed a building used by the Iranian paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, killing at least 4 Iranians.
In Indonesia, several homes in Pandeglang, Banten were severely damaged by a landslide following heavy rain on Thursday evening.
Satria Muda Pertamina secured a 177 win over Pelita Jaya Bakri in last night's IBL game at Tennis Indoor Senayan, Jakarta. Let's start with our feature stories because this is Sunday.
Yeah, it is the weekend.
Okay, easy Sunday, of course. Jakarta's Bahari Museum is holding a cartographic exhibition until the end of April.
Yes, several artists have produced map-themed artworks to be showcased at the event.
Jakarta's Bahari Museum is collaborating with the University of Indonesia's Geographic Department for a cartography exposition, aimed at fostering public awareness and interest in the nation's long-standing and diverse maritime heritage, especially the ancient art of map-making. The Karto Rupa Warisan Kartografi Nusa Jawa exhibition can be best described as the old meets the new. Here, ancient manuscripts share a space with the popular culture, and fans can expect to see maps from well-loved franchises like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones.
Pameran temporer ini berjudul Karto Rupa Warisan Kartografi Nusa Jawa. Nah, inisiasi pameran ini sebenarnya terjadi di dalam diskusi tim riset penelitian internasional geografi UI. Di dalam tim riset itu ada keinginan hasil-hasil riset seperti jurnal itu tidak hanya menjadi jurnal yang dibaca oleh kalangan akademis semata, tapi teman-teman tim peneliti ini ingin menampilkan hasil-hasil data yang telah dikumpulkan agar bisa diketahui oleh masyarakat. Nah, maka tim geografi UI ini menghubungi Museum Bahari untuk berkolaborasi membuat sebuah pameran yang menampilkan hasil riset dari teman-teman geografi UI ini.
Several artists have also contributed map-themed artworks to be put up on display and spice up the event. Karto Rupa runs until April the 30th. See Today contributor reporting from Jakarta.
All right, and from Indonesia, let's visit another country, particularly China, because if you find yourself in the Fujian province, make sure you visit two captivating historical sites, the Fuzhou Arsenal Museum and the Fushan Country Park. Now, this following story captures all the details, so let's have a look.
The Fuzhou Arsenal Museum stands as a testament to Fuzhou city's rich maritime history and cultural significance in China. Beyond its role in Chinese shipbuilding, the city served as a hub for maritime education, naval development, and even aircraft testing. The museum artfully captures the profound history and cultural legacy associated with China's naval strength. Another must-visit historical site is Fushan Country Park, a hidden gem that promises breathtaking views of lush forests complemented by a meticulously prepared fleet. At its summit, you can indulge in a panoramic spectacle of Fuzhou City.
20 tahun kita antara pemerintah Provinsi Jawa Tengah dan Provinsi Fujian dan sudah menjalin kerjasama sister provinsi, dan hari ini kita bersama seluruh delegasi Provinsi Jawa Tengah berbahagia di kota Fuzhou, bukit yang penuh kehidupan.
Nestled to the west of Gulo District and on the east bank of the Min River, Fushan Country Park sprawls over 200 hectares, spanning approximately 20 kilometers of winding trails. Open to the public and free of charge, the park serves as a serene heaven.
Ini tantangan kita ya, karena kan kita tidak punya aset. Ketika aset itu milik swasta, maka itu konsekuensi maka berbayar. Kita akan cari upaya, model-model, kita berikan stimulan kepada masyarakat supaya tidak nanti berbayar. Kita kasih stimulan kepada pengelola, kita kasih bantuan-bantuan ini untuk penguatan pengelolaan wisata tersebut, sehingga mereka tidak akan memungut pada masyarakat.
Fushan Country Park seamlessly connects 36 pivotal landscape points along 3 mountain ranges, crafting a verdant corridor that adds to the natural beauty of Fujian province. City contributor reporting from Fuzhou, Fujian, China.
From museum to museum, we have museum in Indonesia, Museum Bahari, and then also museum in Fujian. Now, we still have more less distressing news. Did you know that you can actually Explore Switzerland through 5 tokens. These 5 tokens embody the wealth and beauty of this country, where quality is not just a standard but a way of life.
Yes, from precision craftsmanship to the uniqueness of art and tradition, each token offers a small piece of the enchanting charm of Switzerland that you can take home with you.
And so, let's have a look at the following story for more details, but be sure to stay tuned, because we'll be right back with more stories on the 3-hour news show on See Today. Actually, this is wrong. Let's go right to our story now.
Nestled in the heart of Switzerland, where majestic landscape meet meticulous craftsmanship, 5 emblematic souvenirs capture the essence of this Alpine haven. Firstly, the Swiss watch, a beacon of unmatched craftsmanship and timeless elegance. While Rolex and Patek Philippe are well-known brands, let us introduce you to Mondane. Mondane resides in a distinct price range compared to your typical Cartier, Omega, or Breitling. It is the favorite choice of the punctual Swiss Federal Railways, SBB. Indulged in the delectable Swiss chocolates, masterfully crafted with the finest cocoa. Up for the renowned brands like Springly or Ladera for luxurious treat. If the price doesn't suit your preferences, consider indulging in their free samples instead.
Your store smells like chocolate.
Or explore alternatives like Cahiers, Regusa, Frey, or local store brands such as Coop. Take a journey into the artistic side with the well-crafted Swiss color of Caran-d'Ache, known not only for its smooth coloring, but also its durability. For those seeking a harmonious blend of tradition and innovation, the Swiss Army knife stands as an indispensable and versatile tool synonymous with Swiss precision. Lastly, bring home a piece of Swiss charm with intricately designed cowbell, symbolizing the country's rich dairy heritage.
Well, Swiss is known for the cows, cheese, and milk, of course chocolate. So, if you're still confused, the little bell will be good souvenirs for the loved ones.
These 5 souvenirs promise to encapsulate the spirit of Switzerland, ensuring your memories are as enduring as the majestic Alps themselves.
Well, if everything fails, you always can get the fridge magnet for your mom or your sister or your loved ones. So I think we're gonna get this.
For those who have children and for children's vacation time, educational tourism can be a great option.
And one of them is you, Eileen. You have a kid.
A child.
Yeah, how old is he?
He's 9.
He's 9. Do you
Yeah.
take him to places for educational purpose as well?
Mostly to playgrounds and malls, so bad. I should take him to museum, I think.
So, for those of you who think educational tourism can be a great option, the city of Bogor in West Java recently inaugurated the Bumi Parawira Gallery, located on the 3rd floor of the city library.
Indeed, and it tells the story of Bogor through 5 different eras. So, how does it look? Here is how it looks.
This is the Bumi Parawira Gallery, which was recently inaugurated by the Bogor City Archives and Library Department in early 2024. Upon entering, visitors are immediately greeted by interesting collection and interiors. The gallery takes visitors on a journey through 5 eras Pajajaran Kingdom. colonial times, old and new orders, Reformation, and present day. Intriguing collections and interiors greet you. Dive into the Pajajaran zone with paintings and sculptures, including a unique research-based King Siliwangi coronation scene. The colonial era awaits, followed by independence struggles, political shifts, and modern Bogor. Impress visitors and yourself with this educational gem featuring insta-worthy spots for younger crowds.
Aku udah sering ngunjungin museum-museum buat belajar sejarah. Terus aku juga waktu SD tuh pernah ke Batu Tulis buat ngeliat prosesnya langsung gitu. Pas kesini tuh kayak apa ya, dengan visual yang ada tuh aku makin ngerasa kebayang gitu ngeliat sejarah-sejarahnya ini. Kebetulan aku emang suka buat kerajaan Pajajaran sih di wilayah-wilayah ini. Terus ada satu lukisan yang bikin aku terkesima banget yang Raden Saleh ditangkap itu menurutku keren banget sih. Ditangkap secara visual lah pokoknya. Terus ini baru pertama kali lihat dan keren banget sih. Cocok banget sih. Apalagi buat kalian-kalian yang suka arts gitu. Di sini kan ada instalasi, ada lukisan. Apalagi yang suka sejarah sih. Cocok banget sih buat di sini.
Named Bumi Parawira, the gallery focuses on leadership during the 5 eras in Bogor. Local artists and history enthusiasts contribute to the painting collection and historical research.
Catatan sejarah yang ada di galeri ini adalah yang diakui kebenarannya pada saat ini. Jadi ketika besok lusa kemudian ada pihak yang menemukan fakta sejarah lain yang itu lebih kuat, lebih akurat, maka akan dilakukan penyesuaian di koleksi galeri.
The gallery is open to the public. For those interested in visiting, registration can be done at bumiparawira.com for ticketing reservations. Notably, there's no admission fee and it's entirely free. Interested in visiting? See Today contributor reporting from Bogor, West Java.
Alrighty, everybody, that's it for our first feature segment. We are for our first short break, but we're going to have more news from Indonesia when we come back, only on the C Morning Show, so stay tuned. A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Labors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the yutiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya 1, Gasan kan kakinya 2, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
The
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
You're still watching C Morning News. We have some updates from Indonesia. The heavy rain that fell on Thursday evening in Pandeglang, Regency Banten caused a number of homes at Jiput district to suffer severe damage due to the landslide.
After a 2-day rain, as many as 4 homes were damaged by landslides. 2 of them were badly damaged, and the homeowners fled to safer places. At the time of the incident, the residents who were inside the house heard rumbling sound and felt the ground move, so they immediately saved themselves.
The Pandeglang Regency Regional Disaster Management Agency, or BPBD, has conducted an inspection to the location, and an evacuation process has been planned for Sunday morning.
And now in another news, a couple is behind bars in Lampung on an ATM fraud charges.
The police caught the 2 on Wednesday in Cilegon, West Java, just as they were about to carry out another fraud.
Lampung Police's Deputy General Crime Investigator AKBP Hamid Andri Sumantri told the press on Saturday that the pair were specialists who had been involved in 7 counts of fraud across Lampung last year. They stole a total of 170 million rupees to fund their drug habits. They are now facing up to 5 years in prison.
Meanwhile, Police Special Crime Unit, or Bareskrim, have apprehended an international online romance scamming network.
Various dating apps have been used to find targets, perpetrators, and gain victims' trust through romantic or sexual manipulation.
Police detained on Wednesday 19 Indonesians and 2 foreigners for their alleged involvement in romance fraud. Some 96 mobile phones and 19 laptops were also seized from an apartment in Taman Anggrek in connection to the cybercrime.
Police have named 3 suspects of Chinese and Indonesian nationals. Suspects use fake male or female profiles on various dating apps, earning monthly profits of 40 to 50 billion rupiah.
That's huge. Among the 368 victims, only 1 was Indonesian, while the remaining hailed from various countries including US, South Africa, Germany, Turkey, Hungary, India, Jordan, Thailand, Romania, and Italy.
Gini rekan-rekan, adalah dengan cara memprofiling. Jadi ada yang memprofiling, misalnya targetnya si A, itu diprofiling baik itu melalui medsosnya yang ada, kemudian dia setelah berkomunikasi atau kasarannya bisa dipacari dan lain sebagainya, dia akan mengetahui apa saja barang yang dimiliki korban ataupun dari medsosnya dia mengetahui kebiasaan korban. Disitulah mulai diperankan. Pertama memang komunikasi lewat HP, kemudian setelah dia bisa berhubungan dengan para operator ini, dia akan berkomunikasi menggunakan link ataupun peralatan yang ada. Jadi dia komunikasinya yang di sini pakai bahasa Indonesia, langsung terkirim ke negara yang dituju, target yang dituju itu dengan bahasa langsung ditranslate. Sehingga jawabannya mereka akan terus berkomunikasi sehingga terbuai. Setelah terbuai, baru masuklah mereka melakukan upaya-upaya penipuan.
Yeah, I'm gonna add something to this. This is really scary, and I actually know not one, but a couple of people that I know, not personally, has been victims of these crimes.
Really?
Yeah. So we actually got to be careful through all applications that are out there. The
Not only
digital world.
application, I think sometimes like they target the victims or potential victims through social media as well. Maybe you have received like too good to be true profile, sending you message and then sending you a very out of this world compliments that you're so beautiful, so handsome, like you know.
Yeah, you just gotta be
kind of
careful.
things.
Yeah, you just gotta be really careful with that, especially through the dating apps. Just a heads up for our people watching at home. But now let's have a quick look at the updates regarding the upcoming Indonesian general elections on Indonesia Votes 2024.
And our first story comes from the ground where the General Election Supervisory Agency, or Bawaslu, along with West Jakarta Municipal Police joined forces last night to remove campaign props that posed as safety hazards to road users.
The operation focused on wiping out all billboards and banners on prohibited zones, namely Pesanggerahan flyover and along the main roads.
Representatives from political parties assisted in this effort to enhance safety for motorists and also pedestrians.
Competition for legislative candidates in 2024 elections is underway. Not only election organizers, Ernaldi Bahar Hospital in Palembang, South Sumatra, was also preparing for the elections.
Now, the hospital is ready to accommodate candidates who have the potential to experience stress or depression due to their failed bid to be elected as local representatives.
For the treatment of psychiatric patients, the hospital has 9 psychiatrists on standby, while also providing outpatient services.
For inpatient care, the hospital is able to provide as many as 164 beds. There is also a rehabilitation place where patients can move about productively.
Now, each patient will receive treatment according to his or her condition, either by outpatient or special treatment at the hospital.
And on the news from the candidates, the presidential candidates, beginning with Anies Baswedan, who met with the king of dangdut, Roma Irama.
The meeting took place at the Artis Soneta Record Office in Depok, West Java, Saturday afternoon. Anies Baswedan asked Roma Irama for his blessings for his part in the 2024 elections.
The two had a closed meeting in which no media was allowed. Later, Anies Baswedan was taken on a tour of the Soneta recording studio. Anies Baswedan admitted that he went to see Roma Irama to ask for his blessing and support for his participation in the 2024 presidential elections.
After the meeting, Roma Irama had mentioned that he planned to write a song for the presidential candidate.
Dan hadir di sini untuk mendapatkan nasihat, untuk mendapatkan pesan, sekaligus memohon doa restunya. Dan sebatas doa restu, kami minta doanya supaya kami bisa menjalankan amanat ini yang insya Allah ingin menyuarakan apa yang beliau selama ini juga ungkapkan lewat syair-syairnya.
Now we move on to Prabowo Subianto, who recently visited Kalimantan for his presidency campaign, where he met his supporters in Pontianak and also Banjarmasin.
Subianto also met with the Dayak Red Army, a native community in charge of preserving the tribe's indigenous culture. There are more than 300,000 Dayak Red Army personnel across Kalimantan.
Kalimantan has also become one of the main destinations of investment following the Nusantara capital city development in the region. With the rapid development of Kalimantan due to the project, the native culture is at stake.
The Dayak Red Army called for Prabowo to preserve the Dayak culture should he and Gibran Raka Buming Raka are elected as the new president and also vice president. Prabowo promised that the development will benefit them upon receiving the demand from the community.
Meanwhile, the next vice presidential debate is set to take place January the 21st on Sunday later tonight and will feature the topic of indigenous people.
Masyarakat adat sangat penting, tidak hanya di Kalimantan. Kita harus lindungi hak-hak mereka, kita harus menjaga budaya mereka, dan kita harus perbaiki kualitas hidup mereka. Mereka adalah saudara-saudara kita. Mereka berhak menikmati hasil kemerdekaan dengan sebaik-baiknya.
Meanwhile, Indonesian rock band Slank has officially declared their support on Saturday for presidential and vice presidential candidates Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD.
The event, which took place on Jalan Potlot, Kalibata, South Jakarta, was also attended by Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD themselves.
Ganjar Pranowo claimed that they often met with Slank in the past for discussions. He also expressed his gratitude to the legendary band for their support.
Tadi sudah menyampaikan banyak pesan di poster. Slank mendukung Ganjar Mahfud. Ini satu energi yang buat Ganjar Mahfud dan seluruh pendukungnya makin tambah semangat, dan saya selalu mengikuti konsernya, mengikuti album-albumnya, mengikuti syairnya yang biasanya ada kritik sosial, pemerintahan bersih, anti korupsi yang selalu didengungkan, dan hari ini kita bertemu dengan para tokohnya, seniman yang keren lah menurut kita.
So those are the recap of the election updates in Indonesia. After a quick break, we'll have Ralphie set to bring you some sport updates. What do you have for us today, Ralphie?
I have a lot of updates coming from the English Premier League if you are a fan of football. We have the NBA as well, and this is the second week of the IBL 2024 season. So yeah, it will be exciting. All that and more to come when we return on the C Morning Show, only on C Today. Sports is coming up next. Stay put.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable through such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on C Indonesia.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu, dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Maris.
Pemain.
group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back, folks, to the C Morning Show. Now it is time for sports. We begin with the English Premier League, where Arsenal returned to winning ways in emphatic fashion with a 5-0 drubbing of toothless London rivals Crystal Palace to climb into third on the table on Saturday. Now Gabriel Magalhaes headed goal from the corner, and Dean Henderson own goal, courtesy of another Gabriel header from a corner, put Mikel Arteta's side in control in the first half. Now Leandro Trossard furthered their lead just short of the hour mark with a clinical finish from a sweeping move. Substitute Gabriel Martinelli added a gloss to the scoreline with two almost identical finishes at a time. Now Palace, who are 14th place now in the Premier League, had a few chances of their own and almost equalized when Jefferson Lerma swerving a shot was well saved by David Raya shortly before Arsenal made it to 2-0. Now Arsenal's victory ended a run of three successive defeats in all competition and put them at the level on 43 points with Aston Villa and also champions Manchester City. Now Arsenal's goal difference is superior to Villa's but worse than City's. Now, moving on to the next sports update, still from the Premier League, we move to Manchester City's Erling Haaland took the top prizes at the Dubai Globe Soccer Awards on Friday. Now, Haaland, a forward for Manchester City and Norway, was named Best Men's Player. Meanwhile, Manchester City's manager Pep Guardiola collected a Best Coach award.
Hi everyone, just want to thank Globe Soccer, the Dubai Sports Council and of course the fans for voting me for this brilliant award. Sorry I couldn't attend in person, but I'm very grateful to receive it. Thank you all.
Now the French Embassy has launched the Bola d'Or scholarship program for those aged 10 to 11. Now the program aims at nurturing Indonesian young football talents. One boy and one girl will be selected for attending a football training while completing their study at France Institute Indonesia for the next 10 years. The screening will begin next week, covering areas around Jakarta and also Surabaya. The scholarship program is also expected to bolster ties between Indonesia and France.
We know how the Indonesians are fans of football. Second, we are reinforcing the cooperation between Indonesia and France in every field. So we thought it was important to launch this Bola d'Or initiative here in Indonesia. Since my arrival, I've met many Indonesians talking about French football, French major soccer players. We know that there is a huge potential here in Indonesia. We are also reinforcing our cooperation in the educational field. So all these ingredients together, we think it could be a good idea to launch these Bola d'Or initiatives.
Now we move on to basketball. In the NBA, Cam Thomas scored 33 points as the Brooklyn Nets beat the Los Angeles Lakers 130-112 on Friday night, pulling away in the dominant second half to snap a 4-game losing streak and win for the 4th time in 18 games.
Nice clip. Both of their
Nick Claxton had 22 points and 14 rebounds. Spencer Dinwiddie scored 13 of his 19 points in the third quarter as the Nets took control, outscoring the Lakers 38-22. That matched their best point differential in the quarter this season. Now Brooklyn, whose largest lead was 23 points late in the fourth quarter, had 19 three-pointers, including 4 apiece by Thomas, Dinwiddie, and Mikal Bridges. Anthony Davis had 26 points and 12 rebounds. Also, the King, LeBron James, added 24 points and also 10 rebounds for the Lakers. The LA Lakers is 7-13 since winning the inaugural NBA in-season tournament and the 3rd worst mark in the Western Conference.
different hands. Down goes Johnson. He's all right. Luckily, you mentioned all the momentum.
Still in the world of basketball, but this time it's in Indonesia. It's the second week of the Indonesian Basketball League season of 2024. And last night, Satria Muda Pertamina secured a 100-77 victory over Pelita Jaya Bakri just last night at Tennis Indoor Senayan, Jakarta. Now, the old rivals entered the game with their respective ambitions, but Satria Muda sought rebound after their loss to Dewa United last week. Meanwhile, Pelita Jaya aimed to secure their winning streak in home games, having won against Tangerang Hawks the day before.
Satria Muda Pertamina Jakarta on Saturday secured a 177 win over Pelita Jaya Jakarta in the second week of the 2024 Indonesian Basketball League at Tennis Indoor Senayan, Jakarta. Despite a tight score of 18-18 in the first quarter, Satria Muda took the lead with 28-24 by the end of the 12-minute period. Curtis Lee Davis made a crucial three-point shot seconds before halftime, giving the visitors a 51-45 lead. Satria Muda had 15 3-points from 32 attempts. Hosts Pelita Jaya struggled to make three-point shots, while Satria Muda extended their lead during the third quarter, securing the game with a final score of 177. 4 Satria Muda Pertamina players scored double digits.
I think that was an amazing game of basketball. I think that Pelita Jaya is one of the best teams and the best rosters. Okay, so they did as well very good work yesterday, and they start very good. But okay, a lot of very proud of the game plan, and more than the game plan, how these guys execute that game plan. They believe in what we say to them, and that's the most important thing for me, for a coach, as a coaches. Because behind me, okay, a lot of people working a lot of time, so we are working very, very hard. So the game plan was great. They were just executing. They were scoring the open shots, and we were in front of for me, one of the best teams and very well coached. I mean, amazing how rough they are making to play. So I'm very proud of this today, and I'm very happy.
Statistical data revealed Satria Muda's impressive 53.5% goal percentage compared to Pelita Jaya's 32.5%. Pelita Jaya managed only 26 successful shots out of 80 attempts throughout the game.
Di lain hal, kita defense-nya ya seperti yang coach bilang, kita jelek banget defense hari ini, banyak poin-poin gampang lah buat mereka gitu, itu yang bikin kita it's hurt us lah gitu ya. Jadi ya itu, tapi ya sama, ini masih di early season banget, itu jadi pelajaran buat kita, pelajaran buat semuanya, ya buat kedepannya kita fokusnya udah tahu harus di mana, kita jeleknya di mana.
The victory marks a significant moment for the visitors, especially considering their previous loss to Pelita Jaya back in June. Bahrian Bahri and Andre Saputra for See Today.
Now, some would say this match is called the El Clasico of Indonesian basketball because this rivalry go way back against Pelita Jaya and also Satria Muda. So this may come to a shock to everyone as well because Satria Muda lost. Pelita Jaya actually lost the game by 23 points, having 3 ex-NBA players on their team. Thomas Robinson, we have KJ McDaniels, and also Malachi Richardson. But this may be an effect of their new IBL format, where Pelita Jaya just had a game yesterday. So this may be because of a fatigue as well. But they're gonna play home and away games. So let's see when Pelita Jaya will go to SM's home court. Well, it's just right next building, but it will be the next El Clasico match. Now let's take a short break, and after the break, Alin and Missy will be back with some entertainment updates just for you here at the C Morning Show on C Today. Hang tight.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this match. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You're still watching C Morning Show with us. I'm Alin Baja.
And I am Satya Pramesi.
Yes, and we're going to bring you our entertainment updates. We'll start with South Korean indie rock band The Rose began their latest Dawn to Dusk tour in Jakarta on January 20th, 2024 at Kota Casablanca Hall before going to the rest of Asia and Europe.
Indeed, after battling a legal case and serving in the military for the past few years, The Rose are making their comeback with a world tour and promoting their recently released album, Jewel.
The four-piece South Korean indie rock band The Rose kickstarted their Dawn to Dusk tour in Jakarta on January 20th before making stops in Manila, Mumbai, Kuala Lumpur, and Seoul. This marks the third time the Back to Me big hitter visited Indonesia, as they have previously performed in Jakarta on their Heal Together tour in January 2023, as well as in Bogor for LMAC Music for All Fest on September last year. On their Dawn to Dusk tour, The Rose promote their recently dropped second studio album, Jewel, that reflects on their past, present, and future while experimenting with different genres.
Sebelumnya kan The Rose itu pernah datang ke Indonesia, ke Bogor tepatnya, di ajang LMAC. Nah, di sana kita sangat-sangat excited dan memang expect bakal datang only The Rose for the concert gitu. So waktu Mas ngedengar mereka akan ke Jakarta, wah itu very exciting ya gitu.
Excitednya lebih ke bangga sih, soalnya mereka bisa balik lagi ke sini untuk ketiga kalinya dengan album mereka yang baru, Duel, and with the tour itself, Dawn to Dusk. Apa ya, menurut aku it's a big achievement, dan untuk saya sendiri yang udah ngikutin dari album Heal dan juga specifically Wu Songnya sendiri as an artist, menurut aku bukan cuman happy tapi bangga juga gitu untuk The Rose gitu.
Bangga, senang, dan terharu pastinya ya. Kenapa dari sekian banyak Asia, tapi The Rose milih Indonesia as yang pertama. Jadi itu kayak terharu banget sih sama mereka.
Although the quartet was previously battling the legal case and taking break to serve in the military for the past few years, their comeback has reached new heights over the past year as they have toured the world and performed at major music festivals, including BSD Hyde Park and Lollapalooza. Next up, The Rose will continue their European leg of a tour starting from March to April this year. Adelia Dinda and Nico Arianto for See Today.
The fans said that they are proud. I think they are proud of The Rose, and they are also proud of Indonesia because Indonesia has been visited 3 times by the band. And still from the music industry, recording artist and producer George Clinton receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Friday.
Known for colorful costumes and exhilarating performances, Clinton is a hit-making artist whose tracks are just as funky today as they were in the 70s. He received this star in the category of recording, and Clinton is the 2,769th recipient of a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Sibley Skoll served as the host of the ceremony, while Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ben Crump, and Jenny Bradford were speakers.
During his speech, Kiedis revealed that Clinton was a big influence for him since he was a student in high school.
Today, George Clinton Day in Hollywood! Fast forward to 1985, and I had started a little baby band of my own. And we were going nowhere slowly, which was fine because we were having fun doing it. And the record company came to us and they said, boys, if you could have anyone on earth produce your next record, who would that be? And Flea and I looked at each other and we said, George Clinton. You know, which is, you know, good luck, right? 2 months later, we moved into his house.
And George Clinton, of course, is quite the legend in the music industry, isn't he? And we move on to another legend as well. Lionel Richie is joining the lineup of celebrities who came to the Park City to attend the 2024 Sundance Film Festival.
He also looked back at his time writing We Are the World with Michael Jackson, the pop star he calls a Martian.
1, 2.
We are the world. We are the children.
Richie, who produced the upcoming Netflix documentary The Greatest Night in Pop, attended the 2024 Sundance Film Festival and shares exclusive insights into the making of the charity song. The documentary is set to premiere later this month.
Basically what he said was, I need you.
It will include never-before-seen footage of the 1985 night of recording that brought together performers like Michael Jackson, Bruce Springsteen, Smokey Robinson, Ray Charles, Cyndi Lauper, and Dionne Warwick.
Willie Nelson. I think we have Tina. Sheila E. Diana Ross. Everybody was there.
During the festival, Richie takes a stroll down memory lane, reminiscing about the iconic recording session with the legendary Michael Jackson, whom he fondly refers to as a Martian.
Well, I've known Michael since he's about 9, 10, 12. So I kind of know him different from anybody else. We've never created something together. We just toured together when they were the Jackson 5 and the Commodores, but we didn't create. This is the first time we ever created together. And it was amazing because I consider anybody creating Martians. He's a Martian.
Stevie wouldn't call me back. And the recording was in a couple of days. We now have a template with mumbles and no words.
Released in March in 1985, We Are the World raised more than $63 million for a newly formed organization called United Support for Artists for Africa to help with the famine crisis in the region. The song, produced by Quincy Jones and Michael Omartian, went the top of the Billboard Hot 100, where it stayed for a month. Aside from airing on Netflix on January the 29th, the documentary will have its world premiere screening at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival.
And we had so many disasters coming.
Man, are you kidding?
Lionel Richie was a legend, but Michael Jackson was the legend, wasn't he?
Yes, I agree with that. I'm really looking forward to watching the documentary because I don't think like we have anything resemble the level and the caliber of We Are the World, where, I mean, 46 biggest pop star united, collaborated together for the song, voicing a very strong message to the world, right?
Indeed.
And you weren't born when this came out.
I wasn't born yet. I was only born in 1997, so that was 12 years before I was born, actually. So yeah, but I did. There was a cover of We Are the World that was recorded, if I'm not mistaken, in the 2010s that featured newer pop artists as well. But of course, not the same as the original.
Yeah, and I said that I was looking forward to watching the documentary about that, and we're also looking forward for this one, right? You have the updates from Indonesian Pride.
Indeed, indeed, because yesterday, Norwegian disc jockey Alan Walker released a music video for his latest single, Who I Am, in a collaboration with Indonesian singer and piano legend Putri Aryani.
According to the press release, this was an emotional music video to put together. The storyline of the music video looks back at Walker's music career. Since the beginning, Walker also said he can only be humble, appreciative, and truly grateful for all the fans, the Walker community. Are you one of them?
I am one of them. Yeah, I actually do like Alan Walker quite a lot. His music is great to dance to. And besides Putri Aryani, Alan Walker has also invited other Norwegian musicians, such as Peter Elias, to join in this collaboration.
Wow, if we look back, a meeting between Putri and Walker happened when the two were on one stage at the TikTok Awards in October 2023. And before that, Putri had also collaborated with a number of other well-known international musicians, such as David Foster, Ronan Keating, PB, Bryson, and Leona Lewis.
Indeed, and Who I Am is now available for streaming on digital music platforms.
Wow, stream now.
Yeah, she has skyrocketed quite a lot, hasn't she, since her first performance on America's Got Talent?
Indeed, she went really viral, and we hope to see more Indonesian talents on the international stage getting acknowledged and get this kind of opportunity to collaborate with a global musician.
Definitely, definitely.
Director Dean DeBloy recently announced the filming of the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon.
Ooh. In an exciting announcement, director Dean DeBloy revealed that a live-action remake of the beloved film of How to Train Your Dragon is currently in the works. And the DreamWorks franchise, based on a book series of the same name, will be remade in live action, with DeBloy returning after directing the original animated trilogy.
Yes, it's gonna be amazing. The film is expected to revisit the plot of the 2010 original in a new format. The upcoming remake will see DeBloy return to the director's chair, just as Gerard Butler will be coming back as Toy. The live-action remake is set to premiere in the coming year. So it's gonna be in 2025?
It is gonna be in 2025, yes.
Still another year.
No, it's too long. I love the first How to Train Your Dragons. And they made a really good decision with Gerard Butler. I hope they also have Jay Baruchel as the main character as well, because he really embodied that role so well. Did you watch all three films in the trilogy?
I haven't.
I recommend you do, and I recommend you watch with your kid as well, because I think they're really gonna enjoy watching it.
Oh, it's safe for kids?
It's definitely safe for kids. It's so inspiring. So yeah, definitely a recommendation for you to watch later tonight. Anyway, that was the end of the entertainment segment. We're gonna have another short break, and after the break, we still have updates and news from all around the world. So stay tuned on the C Morning Show, only on C Today.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya satu, Gasan kan kakinya dua, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetite and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And welcome back to the C Morning Show. An Israeli airstrike on the Syrian capital yesterday has destroyed a building used by the Iranian paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, killing at least 4 Iranians.
The Syrian army confirmed the strike in a tightly guarded western Damascus neighborhood of Mazeh. The Israeli Air Force fired missiles from over the occupied Golan Heights.
In a separate incident, an Israeli drone strike near the southern Lebanese port city of Tyre killed 2 Hezbollah members, including local commander Hussein Hudruji.
Noor News, believed to be close to Iran's intelligence apparatus, named 2 of the deceased in Damascus as General Sadek Omidzadeh, the intelligence deputy of the Guards Quds Force in Syria, and his deputy known as Haj Golam.
كنت حاطة جهاز الربو، عندي ربو، وبنتي قاعدة جنبي صغيرة عمرها 2 3 سنين. والله نطيت من على الكنق، جهاز الربو طار، نطيت دغري بدي احمي صغيرة قعدت فوقها هيك خبيتها. يعني مو زلزال، ما صار هيك. 3 أصوات رجت المزة كلها.
اللي صار انه بثانية صواريخ إسرائيلية نزلت بشكل مخيف، بشكل مفزع، صوت فوق الوصف. بناء 4 طوابق سكني صار على الأرض بلحظة. السيارات تكسرت، الأبنية تكسرت، جريمة من أبشع أنواع الجرائم.
Moving on to the next news, wrapping up the 19th summit of the Non-Aligned Movement, or NAM, in Kampala, Uganda. Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, said that the plight of suffering by Palestinians in Gaza from the Israeli-Hamas war must stop.
Indeed, speaking to African leaders at the end of the week-long gathering on Saturday, Guterres criticized Israel for its military campaign in Gaza. He called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and the prevention of spillover of the conflict across the region.
Guterres echoed the African Union Commission Chairman Moussa Faki Mahamat's description on Friday that the war in Gaza is unacceptable, and maintained that seeking a 2-state solution is imperative.
Human rights, international law, the Geneva Convention and the UN Charter are being flouted with impunity. And conflicts are raging and proliferating from Sudan to Ukraine to Gaza. Following the abhorrent Hamas attacks on 7 October, the wholesale destruction of Gaza and the number of civilian casualties caused by the Israeli army in such a short period are totally unprecedented during my mandate. And this includes 152 of our own UN staff members, a heartbreaking tragedy for our organization, for their families, and for those they were serving in Gaza. People are dying not only from bombs and bullets, but from lack of food and clean water, hospitals without power and medicine, and grueling journeys to even smaller slivers of land to escape the fighting. This must stop. I will not relent in my call for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire and the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. And we must do all we can to prevent spillover of this conflict across the region, in the West Bank, across the blue line between Israel and Lebanon, and in Syria, Iraq, and the Red Sea.
Meanwhile, Iran said on Saturday that it had conducted a successful satellite launch into its highest orbit yet, the latest for a program that the West fears has improved Tehran's ballistic missiles.
The announcement comes as heightened tension gripped the wider Middle East over Israel's ongoing war on Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and just days after Iran and Pakistan engaged in a tit-for-tat strikes in each other's countries.
The Soraya satellite was placed in an orbit at some 750 kilometers above the Earth's surface with its 3-stage Kaim 100 rocket. It did not immediately acknowledge what the satellite did, though Telecommunication Minister Isa Zarepur described the launch as having a 50-kilogram payload.
The launch was part of Iran's Revolutionary Guard space program, alongside Iran's civilian space program as well. Footage showed the rocket blasting off from a mobile launcher, a religious verse referring to Shiite Islam's 12th hidden imam written on its side.
The United States has previously said Iran's satellite launches defy a UN Security Council resolution and called on Tehran to undertake no activity involving ballistic missiles capable of delivering nuclear weapons.
Elsewhere in the world, U.S. allies in Europe are currently debating how to prepare for a possible second presidential term for Donald Trump. This came following Trump's record win at the Iowa Republican caucus earlier this month, cementing his place as the current frontrunner to take on President Joe Biden in November's election.
Now reporting from London, VOA's Henry Ridgewell provides insights into these discussions. Let's have a look at the coverage.
Donald Trump's victory in the Republican Iowa caucus delivered a wake-up call to America's European allies. Questioned on the possibility of a Trump comeback Wednesday, French President Emmanuel Macron said he would pursue dialogue with whomever is elected in November.
They share our values, but it's a democracy that is also going through a crisis whose top priority is its own interest, and secondly, the Chinese issue. As Europeans, we must be lucid about this. That's also why I want a stronger Europe that can defend itself and not depend on others.
Macron and Trump had a fractious relationship. On the Iowa campaign trail this month, the former US president appeared to mock the French leader's accent as he recalled discussions over trade tariffs.
No, you cannot do that, Donald. You cannot do that.
It was a reminder of Trump's unconventional style. But Europe has bigger concerns than personality politics. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine descending into a bitter war of attrition, Kyiv urgently needs Western military aid. Trump has said he would seek an immediate peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. His Republican supporters in Congress are blocking about $50 billion of military assistance for Kyiv. NATO allies are worried that aid could dry up entirely.
The US is paying a bit less than half of that share, but the US has a very predominant, if not the lead role when it comes to the kind of strategic political questions on Ukraine. So losing the US in the sense of having a US president who might be actually counter to Ukraine's interest and to Europe's interest will be a major blow.
European Union Trade Commissioner Thierry Breton said this month that Trump declared in 2020 that the US would never help Europe if it came under attack and will leave NATO. Trump officials did not comment on Breton's claim. The former US president frequently demanded that America's NATO allies spend more on their own defense. Many Europeans appear to have taken that message seriously.
We need a more European NATO. I think the Americans will not leave us alone, but it's always useful to be prepared the situation whereby we have to take more responsibility of our own defense. And I think the Americans are right on that.
Europe is investing more in defense, including ramping up ammunition and weapons production for Ukraine. But replacing the central role the US has assumed on Ukraine under President Biden would take time, something Kyiv doesn't have. Henry Ridgewell, VOA News, London.
An Israeli drone strike on a car near the southern Lebanese port city of Tyre killed 2 Hezbollah members who were in the vehicle and 2 people who were in a nearby orchard.
Now, one of those killed was Ali Hudruch, a local Hezbollah commander, said the official who spoke on condition of anonymity in line with regulations without giving further details.
In a statement, Hezbollah media announced the killing of one of the militant group members, Ali Hudruj, from the town of Bazuriya in southern Lebanon, who ascended to martyrdom on the path to Jerusalem. Civil defense workers were seen on Saturday clearing and securing the site.
Now, the attack comes after 2 weeks of another similar drone attack on a vehicle in South Lebanon on January the 8th that killed top Hezbollah commander Wissam Tawil, who played a leading role in directing Hezbollah military operations in the south.
على أثر تلقينا اتصالات بأنه حدوث غارة للعدو الإسرائيلي بمنطقة بين برج الشمالي والبازورية، توجهت مباشرة فرق الإسعاف والإطفاء إلى المكان، وعملنا على إخلاء المصابين من داخل السيارات وإطفاء السيارات ونقلهم إلى أقرب مركز طبي موجود بمنطقة سوريا.
مهما عمل واستبدل وسعى العدو الإسرائيلي ومن يدعمه بسياسة الاغتيالات والتدمير والقتل وارتكاب المجازر، كل ما سقط منا شهيد كل ما مزداد قوة وصلابة، خرق قواعد الاشتباك والمساحة الجغرافية، فهيدي كمان ما بتسنينا.
Poland has been rocked by a political crisis and widespread protests for several weeks now. The turmoil ensued when the new government began overturning policies implemented by the previous right-wing Law and Justice Party during its 8-year rule.
Now, VOA's Eastern Europe chief, Miroslava Gongadze, has the story from Warsaw.
Poland has become a political battleground after the newly elected government acted swiftly to change the leadership of crucial institutions, regain control of the public media, and reverse changes to the justice system in what had been a source of disagreement between Poland and the European Union. The now opposition Law and Justice Party, or PiS, which ruled Poland for 8 years, is pushing back against the changes by disrupting work in the parliament and organizing protests on the streets. Last week, opposition supporters marched to the Prime Minister's office, encouraged by their leader, Jarosław Kaczyński.
If we are supposed to win, we need to change this government. They are not even in power for a full month. Yet, ladies and gentlemen, this government, which started implementation of this plan, we need to stop. And at the right moment, using the ballot, we need to change. But change it in a way that they would not come back, because it's not the Polish government.
Former European Commission President Donald Tusk led the center-right coalition that ended the Law and Justice Party's hold on power with a victory in election last October, winning on promises to restore the rule of law and democratic institutions. Tusk, now Poland's prime minister, has pledged to change Poland's direction, reinstate civic rights, boost the economy, and mend relations between Warsaw and the EU. Aleksandra Karasinska, the editor-in-chief of Forbes Woman Polska, says members of the old guard are reluctant to relinquish control.
We had 8 years of very right-wing, conservative, nationalist government. And the old elite is surprised by the result of the election. So they are not really willing to give up on power, but they have to. There was the popular vote. This is democracy. We have a new government, they have majority in the parliament, and they're going to rule.
This week saw the first face-to-face meeting between Polish president and prime minister. While the encounter appeared cordial, relations between President Andrzej Duda, a former member of PiS, and Prime Minister Donald Tusk are strained. Tusk vowed to restore Poland to a European liberal democracy and promised voters his government will prosecute politicians and former PiS officials accused of wrongdoing. At the same time, the Polish president remains loyal to his former party, steadfastly defending his former colleagues from prosecution. Jacek Kucharczyk, president of the Institute of Public Affairs in Warsaw, says the new leadership is fulfilling promises made to supporters during the election.
Donald Tusk and his government basically made it their priority to at least start the process of repairing these damaged institutions. And the first institution was the public media, and then the prosecutorial services, because these are crucial institutions for actually holding the former ruling party accountable for the abuse of power that happened during their 2 terms of office. And there is a backlash, obviously, from party loyalists, and that's what we are witnessing right now.
The new opposition's goal is to disrupt parliamentary sessions and make it impossible for the parliament to pass the budget, says Michał Broniatowski, editor-in-chief of Political Poland.
If this happens, though I think it's very unlikely, the president will have constitutional right to dissolve the parliament and call new elections.
Jacek Kucharczyk says he believes calling new elections would be a big mistake for Duda and his followers.
The situation seems precarious, but I think that the opposition, which attempts to destabilize the situation, has very little chances of succeeding. Assuming that the parliament is indeed dissolved and that new elections are held, the conditions for law and justice and chances of law and justice of winning those early elections are very slim. Be a big mistake for the president. I think President Duda will set a trap for himself if he indeed tries to call for early election.
Polish society is deeply divided, and the current crisis is seen as a test of its Western-style democratic system at the time when populism is on the rise in Europe. Miroslava Gomgadze, VOA News, Warsaw, Poland.
Now we move to South America, and let's have a look at the updates on battle against drugs gangs in Argentina and also Ecuador.
The wife and children of Adolfo Fito Macias Fiamar, the dangerous drug lord who is in the crosshairs of the Ecuadorian authorities, were expelled from Argentina on Friday after being found in the province of Cordoba.
Security Minister Patricia Bullrich announced during a news conference that the wife of the leader of criminal gang Los Choneros and their 3 children were taken on a flight to Guayaquil after being intercepted in a private neighborhood near the city of Cordoba in central Argentina. Argentina authorities reported that the relatives of the Ecuadorian drug trafficker had entered Argentina illegally and their temporary residency status was cancelled.
4 other people close to the drug lord, whose identities were not provided by the authorities, were also deported on the same Argentine Air Force flight.
Macias escaped from Guayaquil prison a few weeks ago. After his escape, an escalation of violence began in Ecuador, which, according to the government decree, is an internal armed conflict. Now, the drug lord is also credited with ties to the Mexican Sinaloa cartel.
Nosotros tuvimos desde el gobierno nacional una alerta de parte de Ecuador, de las autoridades de Ecuador, que la familia de este asesino Fito estaba escondiéndose aquí en la Argentina, en la provincia de Córdoba. Es un éxito importantísimo que podamos, con tanta rapidez, habiendo entrado esta familia el día 5, haberlos deportado del país. Hoy ya el avión de la Fuerza Aérea, que ya va a explicar el ministro Petri, ya está aterrizado y ya la familia del narcotraficante, que ya tenía también una serie de causas en Ecuador, está ya en territorio ecuatoriano.
Those are the updates from around the world. Let's take a break, but we will have more updates from around Southeast Asia when we return, so stay with us on C Morning Show.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way
to end your day.
Comes to the beauty, only on Si Indonesia.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Bagi anak-anak muda, jangan pernah putus asa.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak. Dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik ya.
Aduh ya Allah!
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back to C Morning Show. In this segment, we will deliver some updates from Southeast Asia with C headlines. Let's start with our first story. The Philippines and Canada signed a memorandum of understanding on defense cooperation on Friday, January 19th, a move which Manila's defense minister said could later lead to a troop pact between the two countries. Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro did not say what form or shape a possible VFA with Canada will take, but an existing VFA that the Philippines has with the United States allows the rotation of thousands of American troops in and out of the Philippines for war drills and exercises. The memorandum, the Defense Ministry said, would jumpstart cooperation between the defense and military establishments of both countries on military education, training exchanges, information sharing, peacekeeping operations, and disaster response. Canada has supported the Philippines in the face of China's increased assertiveness in its South China Sea, backing a 2016 ruling by the Permanent Court of Arbitration that said China's South China Sea claims had no legal basis. China rejected the finding.
From Thailand, a Thai court on Friday, January the 19th, ordered the government to come up with an urgent plan to curb air pollution within 90 days as the kingdom braces for its annual peak of noxious haze. Air quality plummets in Thailand in the early months of the year as smoke from farmers burning stubble adds to industrial emissions and vehicle exhaust fumes. Bangkok and the northern city of Chiang Mai ranked among the world's most polluted cities on some days last year, prompting a group of people to bring a legal case to get the government to act. On Friday, the Chiang Mai Administrative Court ordered the National Environmental Commission to present preventive methods to solve pollution, both short and long term, within 90 days. The court ruled that the previous government of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, accused by the claimants of neglecting his duty, had not moved quickly enough to tackle pollution. The government of Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin, which took over in August, has promised to tackle air pollution as a national agenda. A draft Clean Air Act endorsed by Srettha's cabinet aimed at tackling the problem passed its first reading in Parliament on Wednesday.
The Batu Caves Hindu Temple Management will build an escalator at the tourist attraction this year as an alternative to the 272 steps for devotees and visitors to reach the Sri Subrahmanyar Cave Temple. Now, the temple committee chairman Tan Sri R. Nadaraja said that the escalator is one of two projects that would begin this year after Thaipusam along the construction of multi-purpose hall is estimated to cost at 35 million ringgit. Human Resource Minister Stephen Sim Chi Keong said that his ministry will hold a Kusuma Madani program at Batu Caves in conjunction with the Thaipusam Festival. He added that his ministry will send 200 volunteers to Batu Caves to assist the temple committee in managing logistics during Thaipusam, as well as to set up a booth to provide employment information, also register Indian youth for technical courses. The booth will set up with the cooperation of the Malaysian Indian Transformation Unit, or MITRA, as the ministry aims for housewives from the Indian community to register for the Housewives Social Security Scheme implemented by the Social Security Organization as well.
A surge in social media usage in Vietnam has given rise to a booming e-commerce market, prompting numerous locals to study the Chinese live streaming model to boost their businesses to the next level.
And with a population of over 98 million and rapidly growing internet connectivity, Vietnam is becoming the next battleground for e-commerce giants in the region.
Now, meanwhile, emerging vendors said that they are carefully reviewing how things are done by their neighbors to the north.
E-commerce is booming in Vietnam thanks to increased internet connectivity and social media usage. Vietnamese online sellers have also been quick to jump on the bandwagon and learn from the best to bring their businesses into the next level. Experts agree that live streaming has been one of the biggest drivers of the local e-commerce scene, especially the creation of TikTok shops which blend entertainment with online shopping.
There was, of course, social commerce or live commerce before. It existed in a, let's say, more informal way. But the way the company came, professionalized, institutionalized social commerce, for me, is significant, right? And we've seen it in Indonesia at a massive scale. We see it in Vietnam now.
Recognizing the market potential, Chinese e-commerce giant JD.com has built 2 smart logistics and warehouse spaces in Vietnam, each sprawling more than 100,000 square meters.
直播电商仅仅1年的时间，订单占比已经达到了65%。我们也希望通过我们在中国积累的供应链经验，应用在越南市场，伴随企业高质量发展。
Even offline, the trend has become apparent as Hanoi's street become dotted with live streamers looking to cash in on the new trend.
Trước khi mà làm TikTok ấy thì cái doanh số của bọn tôi là ví dụ là một phần đi, thì sau khi làm TikTok thì bọn tôi có thể tăng cái doanh số đấy lên khoảng 4 đến 5 lần, vì là bọn tôi có thể quảng cáo được cái sản phẩm đến với rất nhiều người, thay vì cái kênh truyền thống trước đây thì chúng tôi quảng cáo cái sản phẩm của chúng tôi làm ra đến rất nhiều người.
Analysts project that Vietnam will be the fastest growing market for e-commerce in Southeast Asia this year, with total revenue expected to exceed $20 billion. Key opinion leaders, live streamers, and young Vietnamese entrepreneurs are learning fast to satisfy the growing appetite of the country's aspirational middle class.
Meanwhile, Laos is attracting attention as a new production base following the improvement of the logistics and transport sectors. The government has a policy to boost domestic productivity so that the country can fully benefit from being the so-called economic hub of the region.
That's right. However, a number of questions need to be answered, including how to ensure the consumer that Lao products are attractive and can be sold at reasonable prices.
Laos is attracting attention as a new production base following the improvement of the logistics and transport sectors driven by regional connectivity and ASEAN economic integration. The government has a policy to boost domestic productivity so that Laos can fully benefit from being the so-called economic hub of the region. In addition, concerned sectors are working to reduce the volume of imported goods by encouraging manufacturers to boost output levels so that more Laos-made goods are available to consumers.
One of the main challenges in Laos at the moment is that the country imports more than it exports, with 70 to 80% of goods purchased in Laos being imported. Authorities are discussing what types of goods and equipment can be manufactured by Lao companies in order to reduce imports and the demand for foreign currencies needed to import goods.
Currently, companies in Vientiane manufacture 834 products. Officials have identified 38 products that can be manufactured in greater quantities to replace imported goods, such as cardboard cartons, steel rods, and pipes.
สำหรับข้าพเจ้าเองนี่สิ่งที่ท้าทายสำคัญที่สุดสำหรับผลิตภัณฑ์ภายในแม่นหยัง5อย่างที่ได้ยินตลอดก็คือแพงบ่มีบนขายแล้วก็บ่มีบนซื้อบ่มีบนจำหน่ายอันนึงที่สำคัญแม่นหยังเป็นไปบ่ได้ที่ข้าเจ้าจะซื้ออันนั้นคือสิ่งท้าทายแต่สำหรับตัวข้าพเจ้าเองนี่สิ่งท้าทาย5อย่างนั้นจะต้องเอาไว้มาวัดกันตอนที่ว่าในโลกนี้หรือว่าในอนาคตไวๆนี้แม่นสิ่งใดที่ข้าเจ้าขาดไปและสิ่งใดที่เฮาหันเติมเต็มได้ที่เฮาสามารถที่ว่าญาติแยงหรือว่าสร้างมูลค่าเพิ่มได้นั่นก็คือสินค้ากสิกรรมที่ยั่งยืนและสะอาดเนาะผลิตภัณฑ์ภายในของพวกเฮานี่ข้าพเจ้าคิดว่า1แม่นกสิกรรมสะอาดเพราะว่าดินของพวกเฮาแม่นดินสะอาดเน้นตัวนี้ให้มันได้มีประสิทธิภาพที่สูงที่สุดแล้วเฮาอยากให้ประเทศลาวเฮาเป็นฟู้ดแบงค์ให้ได้เนาะอันนี้ก็คือมันเป็นธนาคารอาหารที่พวกเฮาทุกคนนี่ต้องกินและก็ต้องใช้
But how can we ensure that Lao products are attractive to customers and can be sold at reasonable prices? Given that the cost of some locally made products is still higher than imported items, if the quality of locally made products is good and the price is reasonable, more people may buy them.
เขาเฮ็ดมาได้4 ฮอดปีปลายแล้วก็ไปได้ดีอยู่ผลตอบรับก็ดีเขาอยากส่งเสริมคนลาวช่วยสนับสนุนผลิตภัณฑ์ของคนลาวเฮาเองเพื่อเป็นการส่งออกและเป็นกำลังใจให้แม่ค้าเจ้าขาย
A number of questions needed to be answered. For instance, how can Laos learn from other ASEAN countries to lower the cost of production and improve packaging while maintaining the quality of the products? How can Laos apply innovation and promote locally made goods in local and regional markets? However, one of the most important things is that the Lao people need to support one another by buying products made in the country instead of purchasing imported goods. Prisa Sendung Death reporting for C Today, Vientiane, capital, Laos.
And that's the update from around Southeast Asia. Now let's take another short break. When we return, the three of us will bring you of what's making viral news this week. Hang tight on C Morning Show on C Today.
Alright guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine. Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible, I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depot sih.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik ya. Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetite and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot.
You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya 1, Gasan kan kakinya 2, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
All right, folks, welcome back to the C Morning Show. Now let's take a look at some of the viral sensations this week. And we'll begin from a home where a newborn was found abandoned in bushes near the house of Indonesian actress Nana Mirdad.
Yes, Nana Mirdad took to her Instagram to share the surprising news on her Instagram account, revealing that her assistant was the one who first discovered the newborn. Nana Mirdad and her husband then took the infant to the hospital.
That's absolutely insane.
It is.
Is it intentional? I mean, maybe like for Bali residents, they know where Nana Mirdad reside, right?
Right.
And then she's a really well-known celebrity in Indonesia. Maybe they know that she would not abandon the baby, that she would take care of the baby.
It's quite heavy, isn't it, to see a baby just abandoned in a bush in front of somebody's house.
Exactly. As a parent, if this happened to you, what would you do?
Yeah.
I think I would take the baby, of course, and maybe I raise the baby. Yeah, I think it's a fortune, right, if you're trusted with a newborn.
Well, that's viral news. That's number one for today. And we have more viral news.
Oh my God!
Around the world
Looking at the video of the baby, like it is really newborn baby, because when the baby was born, like their face and their body was covered in this buttery thingy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm really speechless
And
looking at
it
this.
hasn't been cleaned. I mean, the baby hasn't been
Properly cleaned after.
Properly, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So probably less than a week old then.
Maybe it was just born.
My goodness.
Exactly.
My goodness. Well, a good thing for Nana Mirdad and her husband who took the newborn to the hospital right away.
Yeah, to check the condition of the baby, and I hope the baby will be raised with love.
Yes, and healthy, of course.
Yeah, yes, and surrounded by kindness, of course. And to another viral news, do you know that that this, unfortunate case that happened because a Hong Kong man has found himself losing 50,000 Hong Kong dollars after discovering that the cash he brought onto a flight mysteriously disappeared. In its place, he found some much less valuable Indonesian rupiah banknotes instead. Gee, putting Indonesia in a bad spotlight.
A little bit.
Whoever the perpetrator.
How did this happen?
Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. The man boarded an Osaka-bound Hong Kong Airlines flight with his girlfriend and family. Now, he stuffed 500 Hong Kong dollar bills, amounting to a total of 50,000 Hong Kong dollars, into his backpack, intending to convert it to yen once he landed in Japan. But hours later, he arrived in Japan with only 1,500 Hong Kong dollars of the money left.
So, after this incident, he blamed the Hong Kong Airlines flight attendant for insisting he put his backpack in the overhead compartment. So, can the airlines be accountable for the actions?
And when did this perpetrator have the chance or opportunity to, place the money with rupiah? So bad. Why would you put rupiah in there?
It's a little bit. It's not a good look for us.
It's not a good look for us, exactly.
Not at all. But I'll tell you this much though. Technically speaking, you are responsible for your own belongings in an airplane. But it is quite interesting to have $50,000 in a single backpack. I mean, if I was traveling into another country, for example, they have ATMs, and the ATMs, of course, there will be a bit of a charge, but it's much safer to just take the money out when you're already there.
Exactly.
As opposed to bringing $50,000.
So this is a reminder for all of us who wants to travel and who wants to bring cash along with us. Don't bring that much. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Not that much. I mean, you can bring in some cash with you.
Yeah.
But that is a lot of money, and you wouldn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Especially if you put it in the overhead compartment. If you have it with you all along throughout the flight, or just above your seat, maybe you can watch it and just make sure it doesn't go anywhere. But if it's in the overhead compartment, this is what happened in movies, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they do a little bit of switcheroo with the bag, This happens in movies.
It does. It does. Probably the best thing to do if you're bringing that much cash on an airplane is to just kind of have it handcuffed to a luggage, and then have that luggage handcuffed to you as well. But it is quite risky business.
Yeah.
And we're moving on to our next story now. Viral news. Green Day surprised a group of lucky commuters performing a collection of the Bay Area band's greatest hits at a New York City subway station. Wow.
In a clip aired on social media, Green Day, dressed in their finest 90s, 70s rocker disguises with sporting wigs, facial hair, and hats, kick off their busking session at Rockefeller Center Station with a smooth cover of the Bad Company's 1975 hit, Felt Like Making Love. Would you recognize them if they are like disguising themselves like
I would not. There's Jimmy Fallon there.
Yeah, there he is.
As well. And during their busking set, Green Day also performed their breakthrough hit, Basket Case. Do you have a dime? You know that song?
I do, yeah. I love Basket Case, man.
And a recent single, Look Ma, No Brains, as well as their 2004 anthem, American Idiot. And their solid performance soon caught the attention of fans and also passerby who stopped and formed a large crowd around them. I wish I was and am a New Yorker right now.
Yeah, because can you imagine being there for that?
Actually, I have a friend who were passing by.
No kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
She posted on her Instagram, and like, I wish I was there.
Even better.
A friend of mine who was going to college there in I think it's like either Columbia or New York. She was in the subway station, coming home from college, from her classes, and she was there, and she was actually there, and she told me it was just phenomenal. This is something that would happen in New York, because you know,
it's New York.
It's New
you
York.
know?
Anything can happen. It's a melting pot.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in New York, especially in the subway. Kid Culkin uses the subway every day.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
celebrities
Other
use
artists
the
use
subway
subway
every
every
day.
day.
So
Yeah.
things like these, random things like this, could happen in New York.
It's like private concert.
A little bit, yeah.
I think Green Day
actually a
will be on
public
tour, right?
concert.
They're announcing their
Tour?
I think. I think this is maybe
One of them, one of them.
to build up the anticipation.
Exactly.
But remember in Indonesia as well, where I think Tompi and the late Glenn Fredly also performed at the MRT.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Just remember something like that.
It is quite similar.
Without the disguise, though.
Of course, yeah. They were just straight up playing for themselves, right? As themselves, I should say.
Well, this is fun news, and we have more viral news. Pop icon Madonna, performing in Toronto as part of her celebration tour, had a humorous moment when she forgot where she was, exclaiming, "Are you ready, Boston?" instead of acknowledging Toronto.
Oh my God, it's like saying, "Are you ready, Depok?" Well, she was in Bekasi.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The veteran pop diva recently graced the stage at Toronto's Scotiabank Arena as part of her highly anticipated celebration tour, which spanned 2 unforgettable nights. In a playful mix-up with her previous location, Madonna greeted the Toronto audience with a cheerful, "Hello, Boston!"
It's Madonna, of course. They forgive her.
Yeah.
It's very natural, very human.
Yeah, it is a human thing to do, isn't it?
Realizing her mistake, the singer, who is known for her infectious energy and unapologetic presence, immediately addressed the crowd with a sense of humor. She playfully compared her mix-up to the audience's expectation of seeing Lady Gaga instead of her. Oh my God, so genius, so genius, such a pro
Yes.
indeed.
This is what happens when you do numerous shows in like a week.
Yeah.
When you're on tour, or when you're a big star. I mean, things happen as well.
Yeah.
You forgot where you are sometimes. You forgot cities. It's like just doing their day-to-day jobs.
Yeah.
And you lost track.
Yeah, you just slip up. It's hard. It's hard to keep track, especially if you're going to 20,000 different cities in a single year. You know, it's quite crazy. Obviously, it's not actually 20,000. I just want to clarify that. But, you know,
That is a lot of cities.
it is quite a lot of cities.
I was going to talk about that. Is a lot of cities.
You know,
not 20,000.
to prevent such things happen, maybe she can do what Coldplay does in their tour, like making it customized. So like they have this customized song, customized joke for every city,
That's
so you
true.
won't get it mixed up.
Oh, so you prepare before it.
Prepared before, prepared the gimmick, prepared the song, like customized gimmick and special performance for each city. So I don't think this thing would,
Ever happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Just like
But when you're Madonna,
Does it
it's
matter?
okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We forgive you, Madonna. We're not from Toronto, but we forgive.
Are we in a position to forgive?
That's a good point. That's a good point. We are Jakartans. I feel like if she did that in Jakarta and she said, "Hello, Bangkok," I would be pretty offended. But you know.
Oh, Indonesian people, I think they would be offended. I think.
Alrighty, everybody. It looks like we're up for another short break. So, in the meantime, don't forget to follow our social media accounts if you haven't already. We're on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handle is @CTodayNews. Stay tuned for the next segment.
Yes.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya satu, Gasan kan kakinya dua, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi. Anjay, aku depot sih.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah! Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Yes, welcome back to the C Morning Show. Now we have some interesting stories to tell you.
Yes.
First of all, for those of you durian lovers, I'm gonna ask you that question first. Are you a fan of durian?
Not one, so sorry.
Oh, you're not a fan of durian?
Yeah, I'm rambutan fan.
Rambutan fan?
It's rambutan season, by the way.
Oh, if you don't know, now you know. So, if you are a durian lover just like me, you can now enjoy feasting on this exotic fruit right off the trees at Durian Farm in Klaten in Central Java.
Wow, the farm also offers special beverages such as durian coffee, wow, and ice mixed durian.
I would love
Why
that
it has
right
to be in
now.
Klaten?
If you're a fan of durian, the spiky and smiley fruit that is either loved or hated by many, perhaps you might want to head to Durian Farm in Grunting Village, Jogonalan District, Klaten, Central Java. At this 3,000-meter square durian farm, durian lovers can enjoy feasting on durian right off the trees. The farm has welcomed many durian enthusiasts from across Indonesia, including Bandung, Jakarta, Yogyakarta, and more.
Di Jawa kan nggak ada kebun durian, makanya ini ada informasi kebun durian Musangking. Nah, saya dari Jogja langsung ke sini untuk merasakan dan ingin menikmati metik langsung, kan beda dari diambil dari kebun langsung sama dengan dari pasar kan lain. Untuk sensasi cukup mantap, rasanya juga manis dan legit lah kalau saya bilang.
Apart from enjoying the exotic fruit, visitors can also try special beverage such as durian coffee. The coffee is made of Robusta beans mixed with hot water and durian fruit. Many visitors claim that the coffee has good and unique taste. Meanwhile, the other beverage that will spoil your taste buds is the durian mixed ice. The farm manager, Wijaksono, said that the business initially started from a hobby, but now he can gain income from it.
Ya kalau rame gini saya es sama kopi itu rata-rata 20 sampai 30 lah. Untuk nanti rame mungkin minggu besok udah rame. Nanti sore juga ada beberapa yang reservasi datang. Masuk kebanyakan luar kota, lokalan juga ada sih.
Paling jauh mana?
Paling jauh kemarin dari Bandung, dari Jakarta. Sengaja ke sini dia udah pesan online. Pas saya kirim, ternyata dia coba-coba mau makan di kebun seperti apa rasanya. Mereka datang ke sini.
In one day, at least 20 customers come and can spend 20 to 30 kilograms of durians. However, they were advised to order the fruit online beforehand. The Musang King durian is sold at 300,000 rupiah per kilogram, while Bawor durian is priced at 100,000 rupiah per kilogram. In the meantime, consumers must pay 12,000 rupiah to sip the durian coffee and spend 15,000 rupiah to taste durian mixed ice. See Today contributor, reporting from Klaten, Central Java.
Now I'm going to ask you what type of durian, which variety that you love.
Musang King. Probably the one that I loved so much. But I love every durian. So durian really is a hit or miss. So either you love them or hate them. There's no in between.
Yeah, no gray area.
There's no gray area.
There's no as clear as durian.
Right? So you don't like it, but I love it.
Those who love it, like really love it.
Exactly.
Those who don't like it, don't even bother to touch it. Like
Even the smell, you can't handle it, right?
I can still handle the
smell?
Yeah, the smell.
Okay, but you can't taste it. Have you ever tasted them?
I have, but I
You don't like it?
don't like it.
Oh,
But
okay.
my husband and my kid, like, they love it so much.
Oh, yeah?
They try to force me to put it on my mouth. It's like,
That's funny.
so, okay, for some of us, now we still talked about, delicacy. Enjoying a cup of Joe in the morning can help boost our mood or get us through the rest of the day.
Yes, and by Joe, we mean coffee. There are many ways to enjoy coffee, but if you ever find yourself in Pangkal Pinang in Bangka Belitung, then you may want to try this particular kind of Joe. To do that, simply visit a cafe which offers coffee mixed with key lime.
Huh? Key lime?
Coffee is getting more popular by the day, and now it is available in many modern iterations. In light of the many modern twists of coffee, a cafe in Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung has found a new way of processing Joe. They achieve this by mixing it with key lime, which is native to the area. The blend includes coffee, key lime, sugar, and ice cubes. It is then stirred thoroughly before serving. The bitter taste of coffee harmonizes with the sour hints of key lime and sugar, which creates a unique taste that appeals to coffee lovers. All the ingredients blend together to make a beverage which is fresh and can stave off sleepiness while also improving daily mood.
Rasanya tuh segar, terus juga ada asam-asamnya gitu. Cuaca panas ya, justru cocok banget sih. Karena bisa bikin mata langsung melek. Terus juga ini kan dingin. Jadi cocok banget kalau misalnya kalian yang lagi di Bangka, terus lagi cuacanya panas-panas gini tuh udah cocok banget.
The brewer dubs the drink COVID since it was created amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Orang Bangka itu kan sukanya asam, makanya kita menambahkan tuh kopi kebelet kunci. Terus disek tuh supaya menghasilkan rasa jeruk kunci itu lebih strong ke kopinya. Makanya kita mengadakan kopi itu pakai jeruk kunci.
Coffee lovers who visit Pangkal Pinang would be well advised to try this refreshing blend. See Today can reporting from Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung Islands.
So Alan, have you had your morning Joe? Do you drink coffee?
Before this morning show, I had my coffee.
You had your coffee?
Ginseng coffee.
Ginseng coffee.
Ooh, to make me strong.
We can actually make a package a story about ginseng coffee. What can you tell us about ginseng coffee?
It has this distinctive smell, of course, the smell of ginseng, and also a trace of ginseng, like bitter something, and then mixed with a very nice and soft cream. Yeah, it's really nice to start my day.
If that's what keeps you as energetic, then I want one.
Yeah, look at me, I'm laughing the whole show, right?
Then I want one. Hey, I'll have one ginseng coffee, please. But moving
How about that one, the one that we just saw, like with lime juice?
Yeah.
Key lime. Would you like to try that?
It looks interesting, but
will it add acid to the coffee, though? I was wondering about that.
Exactly. I have a thing for coffee, but when I drink coffee, you know,
acid.
I have to be really selective.
Do you have GERD or something?
Borderline GERD. So I have to be selective with my coffee. I have to ask what kind is it first. Then I want to drink that coffee.
Okay.
But if you are a fan of all kinds of coffee, especially those who live in West Java, we can find the special coffee in Cirebon, where fragmented sticky rice is used as an alternative sweetener to sugar.
Wow.
Interesting.
Never heard of this.
There are many ways for coffee lovers to make the best taste of their cup of joe. In Cirebon, West Java, you can find a different way to enjoy coffee by adding fermented sticky rice as a sweetener. One can take a sip of the special drink in this cafe. The cafe serves milk coffee with tape ketan or fermented sticky rice that is produced by the locals in Bakung village. This way, customers can enjoy a cup of coffee while immersing themselves in the authentic taste of local food.
Yang unik di sini kita ada namanya kopsus tape baku. Kopi susu perpaduan dengan makanan khas Cirebon, kita pakainya tape yang khas dari Jamblang, tape baku. Rasanya antara creamy-nya kopi susu, kemudian tambah legitnya dari tape bakung. Kita pun harus membuat kolaborasi yang baru gitu di minuman. Di era sekarang kan kopi susu, ya rata-rata kopi susu gitu-gitu aja gitu ya. Jadi saya mengangkat kopi susu perpaduan nuansa khas Cirebon, yaitu mengangkat jadi makanan yang khas dari Cirebon, yaitu kopi susu tape bakung itu.
The fairly strong taste of tape blends perfectly with the coffee and complements the sweet taste of the milk. Despite having a unique recipe, the brewing process is no different from the European coffee making, such as latte or cappuccino. The brewed coffee is stirred with the condensed milk, creamer, pasteurized milk, ice cubes, and tape. One of the regular customers from Bandung claims he comes to the cafe just to enjoy the coffee, especially during weekends.
Ini kopsus tape bakung namanya. Rasanya tuh kopinya kerasa gitu, gula arennya juga kerasa. Pas diaduk tuh, pas ke mulut tuh manisnya enak gitu. Apalagi itu manis sama pemandangan yang indah gitu. Enak gitu nikmatinya. Apalagi tapenya kan tape asli dari Jamblang gitu ya, yang khas Cirebon. Manis, nggak asem gitu, pas enak rasanya gitu. Saya sering sih seminggu sekali paling suka kesini gitu. Ya sekedar untuk nikmati kopinya gitu yang sudah jadi ciri khas di sini gitu.
Aside from serving coffees with local taste, the cafe also boasts its Cirebon traditional architecture, which has become one of the attractions. Visitors can also enjoy the view of rice field and Mount Ciremai.
Untuk harga kita mengangkat di harga 25.000 Satu hari kita di angka 50 ke atas sih, itu hari-hari biasa, apalagi kalau weekend gitu. Pemandangan kita disajikan dengan suasana pinggir sawah, apalagi kalau pagi atau sore madep ke sebelah sana, itu nuansanya ada Gunung Ciremai gitu.
Well, don't miss the chance to take your first sip of Cirebon milk coffee. Because one day, it may go global with its incredible taste, no lesser than the European-style coffees. See Today contributor reporting from Cirebon, West Java.
Yeah, so Indonesia is known for its coffee. Any favorite coffee of yours, Alim?
I think I really like Toraja.
Toraja?
Yeah, like
What makes it different from any other coffee?
bold and strong.
Bold and strong, just like you.
Yes, we need to go through the slide, right?
So you know what's good with coffee?
What's good with
Yeah.
coffee? Like if I don't know, I don't.
What's a good mixture with coffee?
Oh, so they use
a
this
dish.
fermented sticky rice, right? For me, I think it would be a banana fritter.
Banana fritter with
Yes,
coffee.
right, with coffee, the
Ooh,
best,
that's
right?
nice.
Not really healthy,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
but
it
it's
is.
nice.
All right. Speaking of what's good with coffee, after this,
Custard toast.
yes,
will be good.
Messi will cook custard toast in our special segment that we have every Sunday in Yuk Masak. So
Yes.
don't go anywhere, fellas. Stick around here and see Morning Show and see today. Yuk Masak is coming up next.
Yes.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible, I told you I was bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah!
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
The beauty and the excitement of being there,
indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking debt to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the C Morning Show. And you know what I love about hosting on a Sunday? the fact that we get to cook because, of course, we have our special segment of You Masak. And today, we would like to show you how to make a special dish for your family and loved ones. So join us in You Masak. That's a very cheerful sting, isn't it? So today I have Chef Michelle Wee right here with me, and today we will make a dish perfect for a Sunday morning, or perhaps for snacks or for desserts as well, right? Custard toast.
Yeah.
Good morning, Chef.
Good morning.
So, tell us about what we'll be making today. What ingredients do we need for this menu?
So today I'm going to show you how to make custard toast. So basically this recipe was really viral on TikTok a couple months ago.
Okay.
And I think it's perfect for breakfast, for snacking, because it's only take 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
And the ingredients pretty minimal.
Very fast. Run me through the ingredients that we have.
So in here, so basically if you make a custard, you need flour, milk, yolk, egg yolk. But in here, I only use some Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt.
And I'm gonna mix with some egg yolk. Can you crack the yolk?
I can crack the egg, yeah.
But you have to separate between the whites and the...
I'll do my best.
Okay.
So do I, should I separate the yolk into here? Or
No, the yolk in here and the white in here.
Right, got it. Okay, sure. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Let's watch if we have a master chef right here, and I am...
This is the white.
All right, here we go. Let's do this.
You're shaking.
I am shaking. I'm so nervous. All right, here we go.
Oh, nice.
Okay, we've got the white yolk in here. The white yolk, the white's in here.
Yeah, and the yolk in there.
Okay. How am I doing so far? Is this good?
That's good.
All right, perfect. And the yolk into the yogurt.
And then you can put the eggshell in here.
Thank you very much.
And then you're gonna put some, here, some honey. If you want to make it sweet, you can add some honey, just like 1 or 2 tablespoons. And you can use some castor sugar.
Castor sugar.
Yep.
Why castor sugar and honey? Well, do they complement each other, or?
No, because we have this in here.
Right, I see. Okay, all right.
If you want to use like condensed milk, it works as well.
Okay.
But if you're on diet, you can use honey only.
Cool.
Yep. Can you mix it for me?
I will be more than happy to mix it for you. Would you like? Is it okay if I just use a spoon?
Just mix.
There
You don't
we go.
you don't have to use a certain technique for this one.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, and in here I already have some toast or brioche. You can use any toast, but it has to be a little bit thick.
A little bit thick.
Why? Because we're gonna make a well, so we can put the custard on top.
Okay.
So, just use the back of the spoon, and then just give a pressure.
Like create a little valley in there, wouldn't you? Yeah. Right.
Okay, and then after that, make sure like there is no hole. Anyway, this is cheese toast.
Okay.
So
cheese toast.
Yes.
Delicious. So you said you don't make a hole on the bread. What happens if you do? What can you do to save the recipe?
Because if you make a hole, just pinch and press and move it around.
Right,
So make sure the hole is closed.
Just try to fix it again, right?
Yeah, because if you have holes, the custard will go down. Right.
Oh no, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it can drip over, isn't it? We don't want that.
Okay, so that's good. Can you show
Thank
to
you
the
very much.
camera?
Here, let's show it to the camera, guys.
So this is mixed well. You want to make sure there's no lumps, because sometimes if you use castor sugar, there's lumps, but you have to make sure there's no lumps on it.
Keep it as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
If you can see in this camera here, you can see the texture is very smooth.
Okay.
Let me just show you on the. There you go. Just
Yes.
very.
I'm gonna reheat the air fryer. So you can use air fryer or oven.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you pan fry it as well, or is it not like French toast where you have to use an oven for sure?
You have to use air fryer or oven.
Okay.
Yeah, because you expect the heat from the up as well. Yeah,
I see.
the upper part as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now you can pour the custard. Okay, let me move it here.
Okay, sure.
You can pour the custard on top of the toast.
Okay.
Now, do you recommend I just dump it in, or should I use a spoon?
Maybe use a spoon.
All right, that's a good idea, yes. I want to make sure that we get the portions absolutely right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Pudding, look at that.
And for the toppings, you can use the shredded chocolate,
Okay.
berries, or any toppings that you like. But in here, I already have some berry compote.
Berry compote.
Yeah. Do you know how to make berry compote?
Please explain.
Okay. So basically,
Is
in
this
this
too much, by the way?
This you have to put more.
I see, okay.
Yeah. So until the top is full.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Please continue your
Okay. For this berry compote, I use frozen berries.
frozen berries.
For the frozen berries. So you just put the frozen berry on the stove with on the pan with some sugar
Okay.
and a bit of water.
Ooh.
Just mix it. Just cook it until it becomes like a jammy like this.
Yeah.
You can see the texture. Yeah.
It does look very delicious. I
Yeah,
cannot
and
wait
actually
to give it a try.
you can put it in like donuts or French toast or any toast that you have at home, so you don't have to buy it from the store.
Okay. Right. So.
That's a perfect amount.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely great. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you want more of that?
Yeah.
Okay, I do apologize.
And oh, I forget. In here, I have some vanilla if you want to be more extra, but that's optional. That's optional. But if you don't want, that's okay because the honey itself has some flavor.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd want it to be just a tiny bit sweeter, add some vanilla, right? Yes. All right.
And-
So.
Okay, you can put it for me.
Oh, thank you very much.
Just put some blueberry compote on it.
Got it. And while I put the blueberry compote on this,
Just make sure you spread it all around so it looks pretty.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
And while I put this on, let's look at the actual recipe for this dish. This custard toast, indeed.
Okay.
Look at that. Hang on. While we there you go. Is that too much or is that just right?
Okay, just right. Okay, I think that's good.
Awesome. Okay.
So, and after this, you have to put it in the air fryer around 8 minutes
Okay.
in 90 degrees Celsius.
90 degrees Celsius. All right. So I'm just gonna put this down.
Yeah.
And then while we do that, let's put this into the air fryer, shall we?
Yeah. But in here, I already have some
Look at that.
ready product.
Yes.
So we don't have to wait too long.
That's absolutely amazing.
Okay, this is a bit hot.
Okay.
Just be careful. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna move
I have
it.
to
There you
shift
go,
the
just so you
camera.
can see it.
And for this one, I'm gonna put it inside the air fryer.
All right. And while we wait for this to cook, let's take a look at the actual recipe itself. It's going to be showing up on screen as soon as we finish turning on the air fryer. Let's take a look at the recipe, guys.
Okay.
Here it is, custard toast. Ingredients: 2 to 3 slices of soft bread. Make sure it's quite thick bread as well, right, Chef?
Yes.
Make sure it's quite thick to ensure that there's going to be enough space for the actual custard to get onto. Methods: preheat the air fryer oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 250 degrees Fahrenheit. In a small bowl, add egg, yogurt, and maple syrup, and other things as well. Make sure if you guys are watching on YouTube to take a look at that recipe again, to screenshot it if you actually want to try it for yourself. And while we do that, while you guys do that, let's actually take a look at this dish.
Yes, you can take a look. Like
Look
this
at
is really
that.
pretty.
It is
has a pretty
absolutely
color, right?
beautiful, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And for the last touch, I'm gonna dust some caster sugar.
Okay.
You can do it for me.
Oh, sure, I'd love
Just
to,
hold
yeah.
Yep. And do it like a chef.
Like this?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay,
look
that's
at
good. Ooh.
This looks absolutely delicious, Chef, I have to say.
Okay, and for the last touch, I'm gonna put some berry.
Oh, I can't wait to try this. I really can't wait to try this. It looks amazing. All right, let's add more.
Okay, add more on the. Okay.
All right.
That's it.
Now, I'm gonna guess, because this is this dish that you've decided to present to us today, to cook together, would you say you have quite a sweet tooth?
What?
Would you say you have quite a sweet tooth? Do you like
No, not really. Actually, usually I only eat coffee for the breakfast.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who do like sweets, or you have a sweet tooth, or you have you want to have quite a let's say fancy dish for the morning, this is the one that you should try. And on that note, let's give it a try, shall we?
Sure.
Let's do it. How should we cut it?
You can cut it like this.
Nice.
Do you want me to cut it for you?
I don't mind. Feel free. Oh, I see. Look
You should
at how...
take a look because the custard's still soft in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's still like jammy. Ooh.
Yeah, look at that.
But can you hear the
Gorgeous.
crunch?
Yeah,
Can
you
hear
can.
the crunch? Yes. Okay.
That's the sign of quality bread, isn't it? Oh, thank you very much. Mate, how do I do it? I'll just take it with my hand. That's
Okay.
Alrighty. Oops. I don't mind getting my hands dirty.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And here we go.
Is it good? Like the one that you have on the restaurant, right?
So much better, chef.
Can you imagine if you eat this with some black coffee?
Oh my God, that'd be absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And speaking of which, I can already see some of our family, some of our crew members, and our hosts as well.
Somebody say black coffee.
Indeed.
I heard
Unfortunately.
Chef saying black coffee.
I'll
Here
drop black coffee with her.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
You're
You
so
have it wrong,
prepared.
don't you?
He is so extra today.
Guys, you need to give this a try. This is custard toast. Come on in.
Don't mind if I
Come on in.
Okay, I'll have some.
I don't think I can behave in front of the camera though.
Don't behave. Be yourself.
Yeah, be
So
yourself.
heavenly. Oh my God.
Enjoy the
It's kind of...
How do you do it?
I'm gonna take another bite because it is just absolutely
Thank you, chef.
delicious. While we do that, excuse me, may I take this away?
Thank you for being so environmentally friendly.
How was it, guys?
Very nice. I wish you make more of this. I don't think it's enough for us.
Yeah, I would
We
munch
can
on
make
these all day.
We can make more.
I can munch on this all day long.
Surprisingly, it's not too sweet. So
Yes.
you can eat a lot of this.
Yeah, that's why you only use a bit of honey and a bit of icing sugar. But if you're on diet, just use honey. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
It's really soft. The bread is soft.
And you can add toppings as you like. You can
Yeah.
add anything you want up there.
The
This
topping
is berries. What kind of berries is this?
This is mixed berries.
This is mixed berries.
Yeah,
berries,
just cook it with some sugar and it becomes like berry compote. That's it.
Oh,
That's
this is
easy.
homemade. That's
Yeah, this is homemade. Yeah.
This is so delicious.
Amazing. It's
Oh
all.
my God.
It's just
Sorry, guys.
a very good breakfast.
I'm glad you like it, guys.
Third munch.
Alrighty, everybody, that does it for our Yuk Masak segment. What an absolutely delicious breakfast. Toast and I should say toast and custard indeed.
Yes.
Chef, thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you for
We always
having
enjoy
me.
having you. Obviously, this is an amazing breakfast. So if you guys want to have
fight
any
over this,
ideas
guys.
for
Sorry.
tonight, it's absolutely
It's so
fine.
good. It becomes Yuk Makan segment.
It
Yuk
does.
Makan
It really
segment.
does. Yuk masak to Yuk makan. So that's the end of that. We're gonna have a recap of news from our previous segment while we enjoy the rest of the food during the break. So stay with us on the C Morning Show, only on C Today. All right.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking debt to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smack. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
About you that makes me indulge in the company of your own kind.
Anjay, mau migrasi.
Cakep. Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah. Baru kali ini.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Good morning, you're still watching C Morning Show with me, Alin Wiratmaja. We have a recap of the updates from all across Indonesia. The heavy rain that fell on Thursday evening in Pandeglang, Regency, Banten caused a number of homes at Jiput district to suffer severe damage due to landslide. After a two-day rain, as many as 4 homes were damaged by landslide. 2 of them were badly damaged, and the homeowners fled to safer places. At the time of the incident, the residents who were inside the house heard a rumbling sound and felt the ground move, so they immediately saved themselves. The Pandeglang Regency Regional Disaster Management Agency, or BPBD, has conducted an inspection at the location, and an evacuation process has been planned for Sunday morning. In another news, a couple is behind bars in Lampung on an ATM fraud charges. The police caught the 2 on Wednesday in Cilegon, West Java, just as they were about to carry out another fraud. Lampung Police's Deputy General Crime Investigator AKBP Hamid Andri Sumantri told the press on Saturday that the pair were specialists who had been involved in 7 counts of fraud across Lampung last year. They stole a total of 170 million rupees to fund their drug habits. They are now facing up to 5 years in prison. Police Special Crime Unit Barreskrim have apprehended an international online romance scamming network. Various dating apps have been used to find targets, perpetrators, and gain victims' trust through romantic or sexual manipulation. Police detained on Wednesday 19 Indonesians and 2 foreigners for their alleged involvement in romance fraud or love scam. Some 96 mobile phones and 19 laptops were also seized from an apartment in Taman Anggrek, West Jakarta, in connection to the cybercrime. Police have named 3 suspects of Chinese and Indonesian nationals. Suspects use fake male or female profiles on various dating apps, earning monthly profits of 40 to 50 billion rupiah. Among the 368 victims, only 1 was Indonesian, while the remaining hailed from various countries, including USA, South Africa, Germany, Turkey, Hungary, India, Jordan, Thailand, Romania, and Italy.
Adalah dengan cara memprofiling. Jadi ada yang memprofiling, misalnya targetnya si A, itu diprofiling baik itu melalui medsosnya yang ada, kemudian dia setelah berkomunikasi atau kasarannya bisa dipacari dan lain sebagainya, dia akan mengetahui apa saja barang yang dimiliki korban ataupun dari medsosnya, dia mengetahui kebiasaan korban, disitulah mulai diperankan. Pertama memang komunikasi lewat HP, kemudian setelah dia bisa berhubungan dengan para operator ini, dia akan berkomunikasi menggunakan link ataupun peralatan yang ada. Jadi dia komunikasinya yang di sini pakai bahasa Indonesia, langsung terkirim ke negara yang dituju, target yang dituju itu dengan bahasa langsung ditranslate. Sehingga jawabannya mereka akan terus berkomunikasi sehingga terbuai. Setelah terbuai, baru masuklah mereka melakukan upaya-upaya penipuan.
An Israeli strike on the Syrian capital yesterday has destroyed a building used by the Iranian paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, killing at least 4 Iranians. The Syrian army confirmed the strike in tightly guarded western Damascus neighborhood of Mazeh. The Israeli Air Force fired missiles from over the occupied Golan Heights. In a separate incident, an Israeli drone struck near the southern Lebanese port city of Tyre, killing 2 Hezbollah members, including local commander Hussein Hudruj. Noor News, believed to be close to Iran's intelligence apparatus, named 2 of the deceased in Damascus as General Sadek Omidzadeh, the intelligence deputy of the Guards Quds Force in Syria, and his deputy known as Haj Golan.
كنت حاطه جهاز الربو، عندي ربو، وبنت بنتي قاعده جنبي الصغيره عمرها 2 3 سنين. والله نطيت من على الكنق، جهاز الربو طار، نطيت دغري بدي احمي الصغيره، قعدت فوقها هيك خبيتها. يعني مش زلزال، ما صار هيك. 3 اصوات رجت المزه كلها.
اللي صار انه بثانيه صواريخ اسرائيليه نزلت بشكل مخيف، بشكل مفزع، صوت فوق الوصف. بناء 4 طوابق سكني صار على الأرض بلحظة، السيارات تكسرت، الأبنية تكسرت، جريمة من أبشع أنواع الجرائم.
Up the 19th summit of the Non-Aligned Movement, or NAM, in Kampala, Uganda, Secretary General of the United Nations Antonio Guterres said that the plight of suffering by Palestinians in Gaza from the Israeli-Hamas war must stop. Speaking to African leaders at the end of the week-long gathering on Saturday, Guterres criticized Israel for its military campaign in Gaza. He called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and a prevention of spillover of the conflict across the region. Guterres echoed the African Union Commission Chairman Musa Faki Mahamat's description on Friday that the war in Gaza is unacceptable, and maintained that seeking a 2-state solution is imperative.
Human rights, international law, the Geneva Convention and the UN Charter are being flouted with impunity. And conflicts are raging and proliferating from Sudan to Ukraine to Gaza. Following the abhorrent Hamas attacks on 7 October, the wholesale destruction of Gaza and the number of civilian casualties caused by the Israeli army in such a short period are totally unprecedented during my mandate. And this includes 152 of our own UN staff members, a heartbreaking tragedy for our organization, for their families, and for those they were serving in Gaza. People are dying not only from bombs and bullets, but from lack of food and clean water, hospitals without power and medicine, and grueling journeys to even smaller slivers of land to escape the fighting. This must stop. I will not relent in my call for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire and the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. And we must do all we can to prevent spillover of this conflict across the region, in the West Bank, across the blue line between Israel and Lebanon, and in Syria, Iraq, and the Red Sea.
Iran said on Saturday it had conducted a successful satellite launch into its highest orbit yet, the latest for a program that the West fears improves Tehran's ballistic missiles. The announcement comes as heightened tensions grip the wider Middle East over Israel's ongoing war on Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and just days after Iran and Pakistan engaged in a tit-for-tat airstrikes in each other's countries. The Soraya satellite was placed in an orbit at some 750 kilometers above the Earth's surface with its three-stage KM-100 rocket. It did not immediately acknowledge that the satellite did, though Telecommunications Minister Isa Zaripur described the launch as having a 50-kilogram payload. The launch was part of Iran's Revolutionary Guard space program alongside Iran's civilian space program. Footage showed the rocket blast off from a mobile launcher in a religious verse referring to the Shia Islam's 12th hidden imam written on its site. The United States has previously said that Iran's satellite launches defy a UN Security Council resolution and called on Tehran to undertake no activity involving ballistic missiles capable of delivering nuclear weapons. We're going for a quick break, and after this, Ralphie will return with a recap from the world of sports, so stay with us.
A group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya satu, Gasan kan kakinya dua, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
It's crazy to think that generations upon generations just live here in Wakatobi. But all in all, they seem pretty happy. Everything they need provided to them by nature. They don't call this place the coral epicenter of the world for nothing. It's incredible. It's honestly breathtaking.
Come see the beauty! Only on See Indonesia!
Welcome back to the C Morning Show. Now, time for some sports recap before we end it with entertainment news. We begin with the Premier League, where Arsenal returned to winning ways in emphatic fashion with a 5-0 drubbing of toothless London rivals Crystal Palace to climb into third on the table on Saturday. Gabriel Magalhaes had a goal from a corner, and Dean Henderson owned goal courtesy of another Gabriel header from a corner, put Mikel Arteta's side in control in the first half. Now, Leonardo Trossard furthered their lead just short of the hour mark with a clinical finish from a sweeping move. Substitute Gabriel Martinelli added gloss to the scoreline with two almost identical finishes in added time. Now, on the other hand, Palace, who are 14th now, had a few chances of their own and almost equalized when Jefferson Lerma's swerving shot was well saved by David Raya shortly before Arsenal made it to 2-0. Arsenal's victory ended a run of 3 successive defeats in all competitions and put them level on 43 points with Aston Villa and champions Manchester City. Arsenal's goals difference is superior to Villa's, but worse than City's. of football, we go to Manchester City's forward Erling Haaland, who took the top prizes at the Dubai Globe Soccer Awards on Friday. Haaland, forward for Manchester City and Norway, was named Best Man's Player. Now, meanwhile, manager of Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, collect the Best Coach Award.
Hi everyone, just want to thank Globe Soccer, Dubai Sports Council and of course the fans for voting me for this brilliant award. Sorry I couldn't attend in person, but I'm very grateful to receive it. Thank you all.
Now, the French Embassy has launched their Bola d'Or scholarship program for those aged 10 to 11. Now, the program aims at nurturing Indonesian young football talents. One boy and one girl will be selected for attending football training while completing their study at France Institute Indonesia for the next 10 years. The screening will begin next week, covering areas around Jakarta and also Surabaya. The scholarship program is also expected to bolster ties between the two countries of Indonesia and France.
We know how the Indonesians are fans of football. Second, we are reinforcing the cooperation between Indonesia and France in every field. So we thought it was important to launch this Bola d'Or initiative here in Indonesia. Since my arrival, I've met many Indonesians talking about French football, French major soccer players. We know that there is a huge potential here in Indonesia. We are also reinforcing our cooperation in the educational field. So all these ingredients together, we think it could be a good idea to launch these Bola d'Or initiatives.
Now let's talk basketball. In the NBA, Cam Thomas scored 33 points as the Brooklyn Nets beat the LA Lakers 130-112 on Friday night, pulling away in a dominant second half to stop a 4-game losing streak and win for the 4th time in 18 games.
A nice clip. Both of their percentages.
Nick Claxton had 22 points and 14 rebounds. Spencer Dinwiddie scored 13 of his 19 points in the third quarter as the Nets took control, outscoring the Lakers 38-22. That matched their best point differential in the quarter of the season. Brooklyn, whose largest lead was 23 points late in the fourth quarter, had 19 three-pointers, including 4 apiece by Thomas, Dinwiddie, and Mikal Bridges. Now, Anthony Davis had 26 points and also 12 rebounds. Also, King James added 24 points, also 10 rebounds for the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers is now 7-13 since winning the inaugural NBA in-season tournament, the 3rd worst mark in the Western Conference.
Prince short off of a couple of different hands. Down goes Johnson. He's all right. Luckily, you mentioned all the momentum right now, and yet another throw down by Claxton.
They're up by 9, under 5 minutes to go.
Just last week, we welcomed the IBL 2024 season, and just last night, Satria Muda Pertamina secured a 100-77 victory over Pelita Jaya Bakri at Tennis Indoor Senayan, Jakarta. Now, the old rivals entered the game with their respective ambitions, but Satria Muda sought rebound after their loss to Dewa United last week. Meanwhile, Pelita Jaya aimed to secure their winning streak in home games, having won against Tangerang Hawks the day just before.
Satria Muda Pertamina Jakarta on Saturday secured a 177 win over Pelita Jaya Jakarta in the second week of the 2024 Indonesian Basketball League at Tennis Indoor Senayan, Jakarta. Despite a tight score of 18-18 in the first quarter, Satria Muda took the lead with 28-24 by the end of the 12-minute period. Curtis Lee Davis made a crucial three-point shot seconds before halftime, giving the visitors a 51-45 lead. Satria Muda had 15 3-points from 32 attempts. Hosts Pelita Jaya struggled to make three-point shots, while Satria Muda extended their lead during the third quarter, securing the game with a final score of 177. Four Satria Muda Pertamina players scored double digits.
I think that was an amazing game of basketball. I think that Pelita Jaya is one of the best teams and the best rosters. Okay, so they did as well very good work yesterday, and they start very good. But okay, a lot of very proud of the game plan, and more than the game plan, how these guys execute that game plan. They believe in what we say to them, and that's the most important thing for me, for a coach, as a coaches. Because behind me, okay, a lot of people working a lot of time, so we are working very, very hard. So the game plan was great. They were just executing. They were scoring the open shots, and we were in front of for me, one of the best teams, and very well coached. I mean, amazing how rough they are making to play. So I'm very proud of this today, and I'm very happy.
Statistical data revealed Satria Muda's impressive 53.5% goal percentage compared to Pelita Jaya's 32.5%. Pelita Jaya managed only 26 successful shots out of 80 attempts throughout the game.
Di lain hal, kita defense-nya, ya seperti yang coach bilang, kita jelek banget defense hari ini. Banyak poin-poin gampang lah buat mereka gitu. Itu yang bikin kita it's hurt us lah gitu ya. Jadi ya itu, tapi ya sama, ini masih di early season banget, itu jadi pelajaran buat kita, pelajaran buat semuanya. Ya buat kedepannya kita fokusnya udah tahu harus gimana, kita jeleknya di mana.
The victory marks a significant moment for the visitors, especially considering their previous loss to Pelita Jaya back in June. Fahrian Bahri and Andre Saputra for See Today.
So after securing a 100-77 win against Pelita Jaya, Satria Muda Pertamina will travel to IPB Gymnasium today to face Rans Simba Bogor, who just won their first game against Bali United Basketball yesterday, 92-68. So it will be a heck of a game to watch. Don't miss it. We are set for a short break. When we return, entertainment just for you here at the C Morning Show on a lovely Sunday. Hang tight.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia
has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smack. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Think that generations on generations just live here in Wakatobi, but all in all, they seem pretty happy. Everything they need provided to them by nature. They don't call this place the coral epicenter of the world for nothing. It's incredible. It's honestly breathtaking.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia!
It's the last segment of C Morning Show. I am reunited with two of my colleagues. We're delivering you some entertainment news. South Korean indie rock band The Rose began their latest Dawn to Dusk tour in Jakarta on January 20th, 2024 at Kota Casablanca Hall before going to the rest of Asia and Europe.
So after battling legal case and serving in the military for the past few years, the Rose are now making their comeback with a world tour and promoting their recently released album called Duo.
The four-piece South Korean indie rock band The Rose kickstarted their Dawn to Dusk tour in Jakarta on January 20th before making stops in Manila, Mumbai, Kuala Lumpur, and Seoul. This marks the third time the Back to Me big hitter visited Indonesia, as they have previously performed in Jakarta on their Heal Together tour in January 2023, as well as in Bogor for LMAC Music for All Fest on September last year. On their Dawn to Dusk tour, The Rose promote their recently dropped second studio album, Jewel, that reflects on their past, present, and future while experimenting with different genres.
Sebelumnya kan The Rose itu pernah datang ke Indonesia, ke Bogor tepatnya, di ajang LMAC. Nah, di sana kita sangat-sangat excited dan memang expect bakal datang only The Rose for the concert gitu. So, waktu Mas ngedengar mereka akan ke Jakarta, wah itu very exciting ya gitu.
Excitednya lebih ke bangga sih, soalnya mereka bisa balik lagi ke sini untuk ketiga kalinya dengan album mereka yang baru Duel, and with the tour itself Dawn to Dusk. Apa ya, menurut aku it's a big achievement, dan untuk saya sendiri yang udah ngikutin dari album Heal dan juga specifically Wu Songnya sendiri as an artist, menurut aku bukan cuman happy tapi bangga juga gitu untuk The Rose gitu.
Bangga, senang, dan terharu pastinya ya. Kenapa dari sekian banyak Asia, tapi The Rose milih Indonesia as yang pertama. Jadi itu kayak terharu banget sih sama mereka.
Although the quartet was previously battling the legal case and taking break to serve in the military for the past few years, their comeback has reached new heights over the past year as they have toured the world and performed at major music festivals, including BSD Hyde Park and Lollapalooza. Next up, The Rose will continue their European leg of a tour starting from March to April this year. Adelia Dinda and Nico Arianto for See Today.
is very cool indeed. Well done them for finally making a comeback after their legal battle as well as their military service. But from an Asian music legend to an American music legend, recording artist and producer George Clinton has received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Friday.
Known for the colorful costumes and exhilarating performances, Clinton is a hit-making artist. His tracks are just as funky today as they were in the 1970s. He received a star in the category of recording, and Clinton is 2,769th recipient of a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Sibley School served as the host of the ceremony, while Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ben Crump and Jenny Bradford were speakers. During his speech, Kiedis revealed that Clinton was a big influence for him since he was a student way back in high school.
Fast forward to 1985, and I had started a little baby band of my own. And we were going nowhere slowly, which was fine because we were having fun doing it. And the record company came to us and they said, boys, if you could have anyone on earth produce your next record, who would that be? And Flea and I looked at each other and we said, George Clinton. You know, which is, you know, good luck, right? 2 months later, we moved into his house.
So what do you think of George Clinton?
Honestly, I love his music. He's actually, made quite a big influence in the funk scene, and you can hear a lot of his influence in the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well. That bam, bam, bam,
Yep.
So he's made a massive impact to the American music industry. So I'm a little bit surprised that he's only just got his Hollywood star now, but better late than never, I suppose, right?
And I just know that Anthony Kiedis wants him as the producer. So yeah, if you don't know now, you know.
There you go.
There you go.
Interesting, well-deserved. Of course, yeah, for sure. All right, that does it for today's episode of the C Morning Show on C Today. Be sure to also follow us on our social media through Instagram, X, as well as YouTube channel at C Today News.
And C Today can now be enjoyed in Australia on Foxtel's OTT platform, Flash app, or Macau Cable TV Channel 84. Or if you're in the Philippines, you can also watch the Converge Vision Channel 58 and Singtel Singapore Channel 15.
Yes, and for Telkomsel users, you can also watch See Today on the Maxstream app. And also don't forget to also tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel. And be sure to also catch our afternoon show every day at 5 p.m. I'm Ralphina Sution.
I am Satya Premesi.
I'm Alin Ratmaja. I would like to say,
see Indonesia, see the world, see today. Happy Sunday.
Hi, I'm Chef Rahan, and we're back to Satisfactory. Cook happy, cook healthy. And then today we're gonna make some creamy pesto pasta bakes. It's actually family dish or for gathering with some friend, hangouts and something. So we have the ingredients in here. We have salt, pepper, garlic, parmesan, olive oil, mozzarella cheese, basil, almond. First thing first, we're gonna boil the pasta. It is simple to boil, just you need the water and then some salt. And then we're gonna boil it for 10 to 12 minutes. For the pesto itself, it's really healthy because there's very much ingredients in here, actually the basil and the parsley and the tomatoes. So for your diets, and then you occasionally dinner or lunch is very good for you at home and your family too. So while we're waiting for the water to boil, maybe we can make some pesto. First thing first, we put some almond. If you don't have almond, you can use walnuts, pine nuts, or anything else. It's really easy, just a walnut. And then the basil. And some salt. Just garlic is done. Just put it in a blender. Okay. And then the most important things to make pesto is Parmesan cheese. And for freshness, just put some lemon juice.